Hi, I'm Saira Mall, and welcome to SMALLcast. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my experiences with you on teaching and learning in higher education. And I'll also bring in some colleagues throughout each episode to share their experiences as well. In this particular episode, I wanted to look at assessment practices and how we explain assessment to students. I was fortunate to have worked with a really innovative librarian out at the University of Toronto Scarborough campus who developed a framework to clarify student expectations and faculty expectations when it comes to their submitted work. Throughout this episode, I'd like you to think of two questions. The first is, how do they define their grades and the grade definitions and how they relate to the quality of work that they submit? And the second question is, what current practices are you using in your teaching to explain evaluation and assessment practices in your course?
Hello, my name's Frances Sardone. I'm a librarian and I have experience in teaching and learning services. So the reason why I explored the grading structure for arts and sciences is I was trying to figure out how I could add value as a librarian in teaching and learning services. I came to realize I was asking the entirely wrong question. I should be concentrating on who I needed to help as part of teaching and learning services. So in thinking of students for learning, clearly one of their key concerns is grades. And because of this, I looked at the arts and science grading structure, and there I saw, of course, percentages, grade point averages, but I also saw, in addition, a lot of words in terms of describing those outcomes that come from Bloom's taxonomy. So I had a look at Bloom's taxonomy, and that's where it became quite clear to me that in helping students, yes, their grades are their number one concern, but on the teaching side, helping faculty, that's not really their number one concern. Their concern is how to learn in the course, what they're getting out of the assignments, how to learn in the discipline. So it was those explanations of those grades that were the point where a faculty member was going to start from. And there I saw a big disconnect. There was no alignment between what the students were expecting out of their courses and what the teachers or faculty were expecting out of the courses. And that's where I thought I could add value in helping to align those goals and outcomes and help make them explicit. The complexity of the way you learn takes you from a D, which I believe is unacceptable or inadequate, all the way up to an A+. When you fold that in with something like Bloom's taxonomy, you can see that memorization, that's down near the bottom. If you can recall material, fabulous. That's really a minimum expectation. You have to move up in the scale to show evidence that you can comprehend it, feed it back in a meaningful way, analyze it, break it down, look for the meaning in the separate components as well as putting it together, synthesis. Being able to pull all the elements together and provide an evaluation of whatever it is that your question is or what you're examining. Be able to come to a conclusion and be able to stand behind it because you're sure of your material and the way you think about it. Aligning learning and teaching goals and outcomes. So a way to do that when you're looking at this assessment structure is to talk about the C, because C is the average. So when I would go into a course, one of the things I would talk to students about is what it means to get a good grade in the course. And a good grade is a C. And a C means, especially in terms of U of T, it means that you are profiting from your university experience. Now, students don't want a C, although they do want to profit from their university experience in some sort of way. So the question becomes, if you don't want a C, if you want a B or better, what evidence of learning do you have to provide your instructor with in order to move out of C range? And that's where we look at the definitions that come along with getting a B and getting an A. Likewise, talking to the faculty member, if you want to help your students give you that evidence, what do you have to make clear to them in terms of the assignment and feedback and your expectations to get them out of the C range? And I mean, that works well in terms of, yes, the students who progress out of C to get the Bs and the As, and they understand why they're getting them. They're understanding how their work translates into that grade. It's not arbitrary. It's not bias on your part, all those terrible things that students say about grades and the way they're graded by faculty. Likewise, when a student comes to a faculty member and tries to negotiate a better grade, and you look at their work and say, yes, you provided me with this type of an answer, but you didn't go far enough. You could have said X, Y, and Z, and it's missing. So it helps to show that students, they're earning that grade. You're not giving it to them. A faculty member doesn't give them a grade. They earn it from you. And they have to understand what goes into earning that grade. And that's where the assessment piece with Bloom's taxonomy really pays off. Taking something like Bloom's taxonomy and then putting in your own particular rubric for your course or for your assignment makes that assignment more meaningful in terms of what that student is trying to accomplish in terms of their education. So when it comes to students learning in what is really your environment, you have to be really clear about what it is that that work looks like to you and to the rest of the university.
Being clear on what that work looks like to you and to the university. It was really nice seeing Fran and interviewing her on how she developed the framework for critical thinking with the grade definitions for the Faculty of Arts and Science. I had all these memories that came up on how I included that framework in my own teaching and the impact that it had not only on me and in my own development, but also the impact that it had on students and the impact that it had on faculty, talking about assignment design. Even if you're not comfortable or if you're not happy with Bloom's taxonomy, you can find your own rubric. You can follow Fran on LinkedIn, and you can also follow me on Facebook and on Twitter. And I would love to hear your comments. Please send me an email, drop me a line, and let me know if there are topics that you would like to hear and how you felt about the podcast. Thank you so much for watching.